The killing of 6 hostages in Gaza over the weekend certainly marked the beginning of a new chapter in the Israel-Hamas war. And Hamas is now threatening to execute more hostages if Israel attempts further rescues. And on top of all that, there's much less optimism, we can put it that way, for any kind of hostage deal now. Senior government officials in Washington reportedly expressing despair and frustration about the state of the talks. The question is, are we now at a critical juncture? Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is Congressman Scott Perry. He serves on 4 House committees, including the extremely important Intelligence Committee and the Foreign Affairs Committee. He represents the 10th Congressional District of the great state of Pennsylvania. Congressman Perry, always great to see you. Welcome back to Washington Watch.
Jody, it's good to see you, my friend. And I got to just tell you, I'm appalled. I know you are as well at the position of the Biden administration. These hostages have been held for 11 months, and then to be, probably tormented and tortured throughout that period of time, and then to be shot in the back of the head and executed right now, and that news to come out to the world. Of course, that's horrific enough. But then to have the Biden administration, the Biden-Harris administration, come out and call for Israel to engage and lead in a ceasefire. Remember, Israel was attacked by Hamas. They have been continually attacked by Hamas. There can be a ceasefire if Hamas quits attacking Israel and killing Israel's citizens. That's when there can be a ceasefire. As usual, the Biden administration pandering to the pro-Hamas, anti-Semitic crowd within their party in places like Michigan and Wisconsin, trying to split hairs here. Jody, you and I both know there is good and there is evil, and you can't split hairs in this kind of thing. To me, it's embarrassing and disappointing when the ambassador from Israel has to remind the United States of America that they're a friend of Israel. That is unacceptable to me.
Yeah, it's stunning from every angle that you look at this. I mean, President Biden is saying at least the other day over the weekend that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not doing enough. And yet we all know who the bad guys are in this. Why is it that you believe that Israel is receiving really the lion's share of international criticism when we all know who really the bad guys are here?
Well, the Israelis and, of course, the Jews in particular have always been at the end of criticism around the globe. That's probably never going to change for whatever reason the anti-Semites feel that that's appropriate. But I think, unfortunately, the United States of America allows that to go on by playing into that, by being weak on our support for Israel, even if rhetorically. I mean, saying that the prime minister is not doing enough. All he's doing is defending his people and defending his country. Meanwhile, every offer that's been put on the table has come from Israel and been rejected by Hamas. What more, the only thing that's more left to do is to just hand over the country of Israel and its citizens to the terrorists and the murderers. I suspect that's what the only thing that's left to make Joe Biden and these international anti-Semites happy.
So let me ask you this, Congressman Perry. Yesterday, I'm sure you saw the Justice Department announce the unsealing of terrorism, murder conspiracies, sanctions, invasion charges against some leaders of Hamas. How do you respond to all of that? Is this perhaps a change of policy, the beginning of a change of policy, or is this just rhetoric coming from the White House?
Well, Jody, thanks for asking the question. I think it's a combination of rhetoric and the inability to escape reality, right? Of course, Hamas is attacking Jews in Israel on a regular basis, horrifically, but this also includes American citizens. And though the campuses are now rife with pro-Hamas supporters and protest, the Justice Department of which just turns a blind eye, he cannot any longer turn a blind eye to Hamas's operation within the United States and the threats to the United States proper. So I think they had to do it. They had no choice. And unfortunately, I hope it's in time that before some tragedy at the hands of Hamas has occurred in the United States of America.
Well, I certainly go along with you on that. I wish I could talk all day with you on this, Congressman, but if I can, let's switch gears.
Yeah.
The clock is ticking away. Congress comes back next week. So there's only 3 weeks before a potential government shutdown is going to occur. Speaker Johnson this morning hosted a call with all you GOP lawmakers to go over the plan. I know you can't talk about that conversation in detail, but whatever you can say, what can you tell us about the battle that's ahead?
Well, the battle ahead is this. As you know, Jody, we're going to run out of funding. We don't have a partner in the Senate with Chuck Schumer there. They have passed 0 appropriations bills. So and they haven't even agreed on a budget, what we call top line number, how much we're going to spend for the year. They can't even agree on that. So knowing that, there's not going to be an agreement. So we're going to be left with a couple options: a continuing resolution, which keeps spending the same amount of money, same policy, until the deal's worked out, or an omnibus, which would be terrible, written in Chuck Schumer's office by his staff, spending wildly terrible policy. What the Speaker has discussed with us is a 6 months continuing resolution. You and I both don't love that, but that gets us into the Trump administration, God willing, if he were to prevail. But included with that would be attaching to that the SAVE Act, which requires states then to verify citizenship of every one of their voters. And that's something that is sorely needed. Of course, it's already illegal for people that are here illegally to vote. But that's not to say it doesn't happen, Jody, because no one's enforcing it. Think about speed limit laws in your state with no police there to ever enforce them. And so this would require states to actually enforce the law. We see it as a potential game changer. We just want our elections to be fair, but determined by American citizens. And the fact that the Democrats oppose that should tell you everything you need to know. But I suspect you're going to see a CR with the SAVE Act coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
All right, less than a minute left on that topic. It's an uphill battle. Schumer's already said dead on arrival.
Yeah, of course.
Do the Republicans have the wherewithal, the will to see this through and to fight for it?
Well, I'm sure going to fight for it. It's the only chance we have. It's either that or a CR with nothing on it, no wins for the Republicans and the American people, or an omnibus, which is even worse. And though Chuck Schumer might say it's dead on arrival, when that's what the House sends him and the House passes that, he's going to have no choice to either accept that or he will be responsible for shutting down the government.
Yeah, and that would be fun to watch how he handles that. Thank you,
Yes,
Congressman
right.
Scott Perry of Pennsylvania. Always great to have you on the program. Thanks for your leadership on so many fronts. Good to have you today.
Thank you, Jody, and thank you for the FRC. God bless you.